Too dark, too different, too quiet, too something else. In Trinidad and Tobago, that silent label follows many Indians from the moment they step outside their homes. You're watching Times XP. I am Driti Atri, and today we are talking about the invisible struggle of Indians who are living in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not about one person, not one story, but a generation that has lived between acceptance and rejection. Now imagine this, a child sitting in a classroom where she looks too Indian for some and not Indian enough for others. Her last name gives her away, her skin tone invites comments, her food is mocked, her prayer is questioned, and slowly she learned to become invisible. This is quite pain of many Indians in Trinidad and Tobago. They were brought generations ago as laborers, cheap laborers. They worked the land, built communities, built temples, built schools, and even today, the feeling of truly belonging over there, it still feels unfinished. At work, the promotions are slower. At schools, the names are mispronounced. In politics, the voices are often sidelined. In crime-ridden areas, Indians are easy target. And in silence, they are told to assimilate, to blend in, to be less of who they are. Too traditional, too quiet, too disciplined. Their values often clash with a culture that doesn't always make space for them. Many young Indians in Trinidad, they now feel trapped between two identities, not fitting into the mainstream and slowly drifting away from their own roots. Their grandparents speak of cane fields, sacrifices, while the new generation speaks of anxiety, pressure, and identity crisis. And to understand the pain of Indians in Trinidad and Tobago, we must go back, way back, not by choice, not by opportunity, but because of chains dressed up as contracts. Back in 1845, the first ship arrived. The Fatal Rozak sailed into port of Spain, carrying Indian laborers, men, women, children, promised land, wages, and a better life. But what they found was yet another form of slavery. They were bought as indentured laborers. After slavery was abolished, plantation owners they needed a new worker. So they turned to India and sold a dream. 5 years of hard labor in burning sun on sugarcane plantation for just what? Pennies and survival? Well, most of the Indians who came to Trinidad, they can't read the contracts that they signed. They didn't even know where this Trinidad really was. They left villages in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. They crossed the dark, endless sea known as the Kala Pani, the black water. A journey so feared that many believed that it meant losing their soul. And still they came, packed into ships, separated from their families, watched people fall sick, people die, and be thrown into the ocean as well. Yet, when they arrived, they planted more than sugarcane. They planted temples. They planted language. They planted roti, rice, bhajan festivals. They planted a future that they were told they could never have. Generations after generation grew from that particular soil, but the roots came with wounds. Descendants of those laborers would later be told that you are not really from Trinidad and Tobago, but also they were told that you don't really belong there anymore. There means India. Too Indian for Trinidad and too Trinidadian for Indian. That's right. Families kept the old ways alive, often in fear, teaching their children to be quiet, to behave, to avoid any attention because attention meant trouble for them. And that quiet survival became a lifelong habit. Today, over 175 years later, the chains, they are still invisible, but they are still felt in identity, in opportunity, in acceptance. From ships to sugarcane fields to city streets, the journey of Indians in Trinidad and Tobago is one of survival, sacrifice, and still struggle. History did not end, it just changed its shape. And the question now is, all they built, all they gave, all they endured, when will they finally be allowed to just exit without having to explain who they really are?